Welcome back to my Mental Health and Crime channel. My name is Huda London. This is the case of the Idaho. This is all my thoughts, my speculations. I'd like to thank all my subscribers, my viewers. I'd like to wish everyone a happy 4th of July weekend. Today I'd like to talk a bit about the coroner, Tampered.
With a C, Mabbutt, M-A-B-B-U-T-T.
And I'm going to ask you, how long have you been doing this for?
I've been doing it for 16 years, and I just got reelected for another 4.
So what is it that, or I guess, when did you get the call on Sunday?
I got the call just a few minutes after noon that there were 4 homicides, but I didn't go to the scene because of law enforcement doing their investigation first, so I didn't actually go to the scene until about 5 or 5:30. I got the call just a few minutes after noon that there were 4 homicides, but I didn't go to the scene because of law enforcement doing their investigation first, so I didn't actually go to the scene until about 5 or 5:30.
Can you walk us through, like, for our viewers, kind of the process between when police show up and then you guys getting the bodies and doing their examinations?
Sure. Well, law enforcement goes through and looks for any evidence, takes videos and pictures of everything in there, and they'll start talking with people. So I don't really need to be there for that. They can't move the bodies. I mean, the bodies have to stay as they were until the coroner gets there. So that's what my job is, to look at the bodies.
As a coroner, do you guys do the autopsies and all that?
No, we some do if they're an actual medical examiner, but we have forensic pathologists and we contract with Spokane to do that.
So in your experience, what is it that you saw when you showed up?
Well, there was a lot of blood. It was a very sad scene with 4 murdered college students.
You're close proximity to each other, or were they in different rooms?
I don't know that I can discuss that.
These are all in close proximity to each other, or were they in different rooms?
I don't know that I can discuss that.
I wanted to discuss 2 important things that the coroner said. The first one was if the victims were found posed approximately near each other. Tampered said, I don't know if I can answer that. The reason I asked that is because Hunter Johnson clearly went into the house with Emily, Jody, DM, and BF. But we are not sure if BF was there the whole time. It sounded like she was there when the police came in the morning. The reason it is important to me is for Hunter to go to the house, get a knife from the kitchen, and then go upstairs and just tell the other girls in the house, get out, get out, get out. Is a question for me. He said someone was unconscious. We all assumed it was Zana Knoedel. So could it be possible that the victims were not all found in the same place? We were told that Maddie and Katie were found in one bed. We heard that from Steve too. But what about Ethan and Zana? If Ethan was found in front of Zana's doorway, like it was said, that it leaked out from the grand jury, then Hunter Johnson would have found Ethan first. He wouldn't have need to go inside the room. He would have just said, "Get out, get out, get out," as soon as he saw Ethan lying on the corridor. But since he went inside the room and then said, "Get out," I assume he saw Zana unconscious, just like BF and DM saw Zana, his feet facing the door and a head towards the wall. I want to know where Ethan Chapin was. Was he, God forbid, in a closet? Was he found in the toilet? Was he found in the living room? Was he found on the steps? Just a question. We've never been told where Ethan was found. Someone's lying here. So the coroner says, I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about that. You should have just spoken about that because you spoke about everything else, Cathy. Where was Ethan found? What did Hunter see? And why did Hunter feel like he had to take a knife upstairs with him? The second thing I want to know, which for me is much more important, is did Idaho Moscow University, Idaho Moscow police and detectives, did they breach the protocol? Because we have the coroner clearly saying that we cannot move the bodies till the coroner comes to the scene, and then the bodies would be transported to Spokane because they have a bigger corner.
Emily says Dylan, one of the surviving roommates, called her concerned, asking her and Hunter to come over. In the documentary, you tell the story of really not feeling alarmed when Dylan called you.
I joked around with her on the phone. You know, it's something you would never expect.
It's November, so I had shorts on, slides on. Like, I wasn't prepared to obviously stay there. I was just going over to check to see what's going on. I would say as soon as you get there, you know something's wrong.
Hunter was the first person to arrive to King Road to discover what happened. Their friend Josie Louderin, who was also there, describing the moments in the docuseries.
As soon as I stepped in the house, I was like, oh, something is so not right. Like, you could feel it, almost. Hunter was ahead of me and Emily and immediately was pushed out. And Hunter was like, get out, somebody call 911. You were ahead of me and Emily and immediately was pushed out. And Hunter was like, get out, somebody call 911.
You hear Hunter on the 911 call, telling the girls there was an unconscious person, protecting them from the graphic details.
Is she breathing?
No.
How did you remain so calm in that moment?
Truly, in my heart, I believe God was with me that day, and He gave me the strength to get through that day.
As authorities entered the home, the friends say they were told to sit outside, waiting for hours with little information.
This is the part that never makes sense to me. DM calls Emily aunt because she's concerned. Why was she concerned? Because she saw a man in black? Or because she heard a man telling Zana, I'm here to help? So when you're concerned, that is an emotion that when you're concerned, you're stressed, you're scared, you're in panic mode. A lot is going on when you're concerned. So if DM was concerned, why did she call the police? As soon as you're concerned, it's the law and enforcement that can help you. And then you would be thinking about calling friends, frats, Hunter Chapin, Maisie, all the people who are related to the victims, you would call them after the concern is dealt with. And the concern was that something happened in the house. So DM calls Emily because she's concerned, like the ABC reporter said, and like we've heard of. But then we have Emily here who's saying that when DM called, we were joking. Why was she joking? Let's not forget, there's a concern happening. 911 should be immediately called. You see a man in black clothing in your house, I think it passes concern. It passes concern. It's more like panic. It's like a full-blown panic that happens. But okay, we have DM calling Emily, Emily joking, they're horsing around when 4 people are actually unalived. Doesn't make sense. Didn't DM feel concerned? When you're concerned, you'd be like, Emily, please come here quickly. Call 911 on your way. Me and BF are standing outside. Something must have happened in the house. We heard all these noises. We saw someone in black. That's the first thing you would mention. And I'd be like, I saw someone in black with a mask, bushy eyebrows. I heard this, I heard that. Would I be joking? So that is a huge red flag for me. Then we have Mr. Johnson here, Hunter Johnson. Let's not forget, they were joking on the phone. So it didn't look like a concern really happened. But then he was so concerned more than DM that he decided to go to the kitchen and get a big blade. Doesn't make sense. Something is not right here. Something's missing. If you all are joking, where does a weapon come in? Why would you need to get a knife from the kitchen? I want to know why Hunter was carrying a knife. Unless DM told you more, or unless you knew more. The fact that we have Maisie Chapin and Hunter Chapin saying that they chill with Ethan all the time. They do everything together. And Hunter Johnson is best friends with Ethan. Emily is best friends with Zana. We've seen many pictures of them together. It was a Saturday night. It was the day the Vandals played. I think they lost. Everyone was celebrating. So where were these people? Weren't y'all partying with Ethan and Zana like y'all usually do? And why do they just look so guilty, in my opinion, in this whole interview? Where were they that night? I think they were partying, in my opinion, with Zana and Ethan. Maybe earlier, but they know something. For them to be carrying knives. Were they there when the fight broke out? Because I believe there was a fight in the house. Ethan told Maisie, "Dog, come. We miss you. Come chill with us. We want you here." And then she says, "Dog, nah, I'm going to sleep." And then Ethan said, "I love you." And that was something that Maisie got surprised over. That's your triplet. Don't y'all tell each other, "I love you"? When I talk to my family members, my sisters, we always tell each other, "I love you, see you later, talk to you later." And these are triplets, very close to each other, that do things together. Why did Maisie find it strange that Ethan said, "I love you"? Doesn't he usually say that? And if this is the first time he said, shouldn't that be a red flag for his sister? I'd have been thinking, my brother said, "I love you." He never says that. Maybe he's intoxicated, he's in a good mood. Or maybe my panic button should come on. Maybe I should call him back and say, whoa, dog, you said you love me. I love you too, but is everything all right? Or is it just me? Why is this man running around with a knife if he thinks somebody's unconscious? DM was horsing over on the phone. She was joking around with Emily. So why did they think it was important to take a knife? My second question is actually even more important. You'll heard the coroner saying the bodies are not allowed to be moved until the coroner comes. I showed you the interview with JLR and Kane. Kane the neighbor. Kane the neighbor said clearly that he saw ambulances. He saw more than one ambulance there in front of the house and police cars. When I said that, many people were discussing in my comment channel and telling me, he did see ambulances, but ambulances didn't come to the scene and all. Yes, not only do we have it from Kane, the neighbor, who lives opposite 1122 King Road, we have it from Emily Ant, his mouth, on an ABC interview. She said we had to sit out and wait a couple of hours, and when we saw the ambulances leaving, we knew it was. Like we knew that they couldn't be saved. Something like that. So did Idaho Moscow Police Department detectives, did they breach the protocol by transporting the victims to Spokane? Because that would be against the protocol, according to the coroner, Macbeth. Macbeth says they can't move the bodies till I show up. So how did they move the bodies? Because Macbeth came between 5 to 5:30 in the evening.
Called her concerned, asking her and Hunter to come over. In the documentary, you tell the story of really not feeling alarmed when Dylan called you.
I joked around with her on the phone. It's something you would never expect.
It's November, so I had shorts on, slides on. Like, I wasn't prepared to obviously stay there. I was just going over to check, see what's going on.
It was November. Guys, how is it usually in November? Cold. Winter starting. Our friend Hunter said, it was a normal November day. I was wearing sliders and socks and shorts. People usually don't wear shorts. They wear trainers, training pants. They wear long pants. Maybe even a long pajama pant. It's cold, and you're in Idaho, Moscow. Idaho is a cold place. So he's just trying to make it seem like it was just a casual November, like a hot summer day, like today, a humid day, wearing t-shirt and sliders. These two look like they were very prepared for this interview. They were acting it out well, but certain things you can never be prepared for. Now pay attention to how Hunter and Jody, both of them say that as soon as they entered the house, they knew something was wrong. How come none of these people mention the smell? We're talking about 4 people who were unalived in the most brutal manner. The coroner said there was blood everywhere. Trigger warning. But for these people, They said that we knew something was wrong. How did y'all know? Didn't it smell in the air? Didn't you notice the front door being open, Hunter? Or you already knew that the front door was going to be open so that the smell goes off? DM must have informed you, in my opinion. Nothing makes sense here.
I was just going over to check to see what's going on. I would say as soon as you get there, you know something's wrong.
Hunter was the first person to arrive to King Road to discover what happened. Their friend Josie Louderin, who was also there, describing the moments in the docuseries.
As soon as I stepped in the house, I was like, oh, something is so not right. Like, you could feel it almost. Hunter was ahead of me and Emily and immediately was pushed out, and Hunter was like, get out, somebody call 911.
You hear Hunter on the 911 call telling the girls there was an unconscious person protecting them from the graphic details.
Is she breathing? No.
How did you remain so calm in that moment?
Truly, in my heart, I believe God was with me that day, and He gave me the strength to get through that day.
As authorities entered the home, the friends say they were told to sit outside, waiting for hours with little information.
We watched the ambulance come and we watched them immediately leave. So I think that was a hard part for sure.
That second you realize there's no one to be saved.
Right.
When the authorities came, the friends were told to sit outside. They were sitting outside. Sorry, guys. Got a message. Basically, what I'm trying to say is they were sitting outside for a couple of hours. The ambulances came immediately, very quickly, and the ambulances left immediately. So the ambulances didn't come for fun. They came. I'm sure the police first checked and understood that this was a brutal crime scene, a quadruple. They understood. They must have taken their pulse. There was no hope for the victims, unfortunately. So the ambulances came, left quickly, and the reporter said, that's the time y'all understood that they couldn't be saved. Like they were unalived. So y'all see? Do y'all hear what I hear? The ambulances came, took the victims before the coroner even came. So we are talking about tampered crime scenes. They tampered with the 4 deceased bodies. I hate to be so blatant, but it is the truth. They moved the 4 bodies before the coroner came. That is breaching the protocols. Did y'all actually breach the protocols? Because the bodies wasn't moved at 5 to 5:30. Somebody's lying here. And I think it's a coroner. She was told to say that she came at 5 to 5:30 and then the bodies were moved. These people didn't get their story straight from the very beginning. And it's annoying me. How could y'all move the bodies before the coroner? Oh, the coroner. Forgot. She was the teacher, the coroner, the lawyer, the magician. I don't know what else she was. She was everything. She was literally everything. They're very lucky to have a coroner like that. Imagine having such a flexible coroner, in my opinion. Need a lawyer? Call the coroner. Need the coroner? Call the coroner. Need a nurse? Oh yeah, she was a nurse too. I forgot about that. Call the nurse. I won't be surprised if she's a brain surgeon too. So the coroner said that she came at 5 to 5:30. It was a brutal crime scene. And I have one of the first interviews the coroner ever made. They started editing things that she started saying, the mainstream news media. And I'll never forget what the coroner said. When she was asked, What was the time of the unaliving? She said somewhere after 2 a.m. And what did Ethan's mother said? 2 a.m. is the hardest time for a family. 2 a.m. is the hardest time for a family. That's why I always believe that the unalivings happened between 2 to 4, 2 to 3:30. I believe Ethan and Zana were unalived between 2 to 2:15. And I believe Maddie and Kaylee were unalived somewhere after 2:53 to 3:12 when the figures are running. The 19-minute theory of 4chan. I believe that the Banfield boys were involved. One of them had a forehead the size of a tennis ball. Two of them had clothes. His clothes were too small. They looked like females' clothes. The other one's clothes were too big. The one with the pink jumper, I've seen Zana and Ethan with the same kind of jumpers too. Quite strange. Just a bit different design. Alpha Kappa Lambda, in my opinion, and Sigma Chi fraternity are involved. So I want to know the ambulances. If the 4 victims were taken away, if the 4 deceased victims were taken in the ambulances, why did the coroner say that the bodies can't be moved until she appears like a magician? Make this make sense. The whole crime scene was tampered with. Where was Ethan found? Because Hunter said somebody's unconscious. And he was running around with a knife. What was he doing with the knife? Was the knife ever checked if it was used? Or did he get rid of that knife? Because don't forget, he went to Sigma Chi to break the news to Hunter Chapin. He's roaming around with DNA on him. Because he must have touched Zana to check if she had any pulse. Let me know what y'all think. Were the bodies moved before the coroner came? I believe so. Because you have Emily here saying when she saw the ambulances leave, she knew there was no hope.
The friends say they were told to sit outside, waiting for hours with little information.
We watched the ambulance come and we watched them immediately leave. So I think that was a hard part for sure.
That second you realize there's no one to be saved.
Right.
Their best.
Could it be possible that the triplets were all chilling together? And they could have gone home a bit earlier. And even if they were there and saw the frats barge in and fight with their brother and they left, could it be possible that the police told them not to talk, not to say anything? Or could it be possible that the parents were threatened that you all lost one son, you don't want to lose all your triplets, to keep your mouth shut? They could have been threatened easy by the frats. I wonder why this Chapin family continued letting Sigma Chi make donations, GoFundMes, on Ethan's name. I wonder why Maisie was given the Sigma Chi fraternity sweetheart in 2023. Maybe Stacy and Jim knew it was too late, so they thought, just go along with it. Is that possible? But we know for a fact that Ethan texted Maisie lost and he said, Doug, come and chill with us. So the triplets know exactly where Ethan was. And I wonder what time that was.
Larger-than-life brother and son.
We played every sport together. Every time we went in the car, it was together. Partied together. There was never a dull moment.
The night before Ethan was killed, Maisie brought him to her sorority formal. She now cherishes the text he sent her before bed.
So he started off by texting me, I think he said, Dog, come hang out. We all want you here. And I said, I'm going to bed. And then he said, love you. And I didn't even respond to that. I think I was asleep by then.
And the I love you kind of stood out, though.
Well, yeah, definitely.
Why did it say
Hunter, who
that?
pledged Sigma Chi with Ethan, says the next morning a friend at the fraternity woke him up saying the police were at Xana's house.
Hunter Johnson came up to me and said, I was like, where's Ethan and Xana? And he's like, they're not here anymore. It's like, what do you mean they're not here anymore? He's like, I think they were murdered last night.
Hunter was forced to call his...
I don't understand why the police and the psychologists, the counselors, did not give the triplets the news. This is not some news that Hunter should be giving them in such a manner. I feel sorry for them. Another thing, we have Hunter Johnson giving the news with DNA all over him. Do y'all see how badly the crime scene was tampered? Hunter was in the crime scene and then he left the crime scene and went to Sigma Chi. Let me know what y'all think, guys. Please like, share, and subscribe. May the victims rest in peace.